Hello, here we are again. I'm Carrie,
I'm Alan.
and this is Clean Eating Kitchen, where I share easy, healthy recipes so you can help your best. I normally have a focus on healing from chronic illness, but lately I've been sharing videos with my husband Alan on healthy aging. I think this week I'm going to get back to a little bit, not so much chronic illness, but maybe more of women's health issues. Specifically, I'm going to talk about perimenopause and maybe transitioning into menopause. I thought that might be an interesting topic, including foods that can help, supplements, lifestyle routines, exercise, because that is what I am personally going through, and I've been learning a lot. It is so
A
interesting.
lot.
And I don't know how much Alan will have to put in, or I don't know how much Alan will have to contribute to this topic, but you have been married
Oh,
before,
oh,
and you have two grown daughters,
ugh,
and you have a second wife.
goes without saying.
So, but no, Alan probably won't be as involved this week, but I'll show some of our adventures. We are going to go hiking tomorrow. We have some junk here in the back seat. We're getting ready to drop it off at Goodwill, and we're
Wait a
going to,
minute, back up 1 second.
yeah,
I may have a lot to say about menopause.
okay.
We do an episode on that.
Well, I haven't seen a lot of research on that, but so, anyways, we hope you join us for the next few days and join us on some fun adventures. Okay, here's a quick grocery haul to get started for the week. All of these items are gluten-free and dairy-free, so I'll just run through them real quickly. With 4th of July coming up, I got this dairy-free coconut whip. This is the best version of this product, best dairy-free version of this product that I have found. The ingredients are okay, and I am planning on making a gluten-free, dairy-free strawberry shortcake to celebrate the 4th of July. I got some fresh fruits. I had these about a week ago, and they were absolutely delicious. I got some wheatgrass for one of my cats likes the wheatgrass. I got some greens. This is some Swiss chard, mentioning from one of my previous videos how I like to vary my greens that I put in my smoothies. This is the brand of yogurt that Alan has as a snack. It does have 10 grams of protein in one serving that comes from pea protein. So this is 100% dairy-free, so it's a great alternative. Here's some more vegetables. I just got some green onions, which I love putting on salads or any kind of a chili or anything like that. And these onions are part of a family of vegetables that have sulfur-containing compounds that are very healthy for us. I got some blackberries. These were on sale. And the reason is because I am trying to eat a rainbow of foods daily. And I realized that I probably don't get enough dark colors. I guess the blueberries count as well. But these, of course, are blackberries. I guess you could say that they have that black hue that you really don't find in a lot of other fruits and vegetables. I got some sweet potatoes. These are the garnet. I think they even call them yams, but they are a orange sweet potato on the inside, and I guess it does say it says red sweet potato. And I just like to roast these or chop them up and put them in the air fryer. I got some gluten-free sourdough. I love this brand. I got a honeydew because it felt really heavy, and so I thought it'd be a good one. Some more greens for the week. My favorite dairy-free yogurt to have with granola. I got some protein. I got chicken breast, and then I got ground turkey, organic. I can show you. I always get the 93% fat. What do they call it? 93% lean. I never get the 98%. It's way too dry. This is my favorite, and I'm gonna make probably some turkey burgers in the air fryer, so I can show you how I do that in a few days. And then just got some organic chicken breast, and then this was kind of an impulse purchase. Some jalapeno relish and sweet pickle relish. I always put this one in my tuna salads, egg salads, but Alan does love the spicy foods, and I thought this would probably be something that he would like. So I'll put that in his, probably tuna salad or chicken salad. And he will probably really enjoy that. That is a little grocery haul with a focus on a variety of real whole foods. And again, this will last us probably about 3 or 4 days. I definitely want to share some tips on perimenopause and transitioning into menopause. I would say that I am probably in middle to late perimenopause. I'm in my late 40s, and I definitely started having symptoms, I would say, in my early 40s, and I read several books, and maybe I will share some of my favorite books, and actually they've changed over time, and then there's been a lot of new information coming out, especially about menopause, and a lot of it applies to perimenopause too. And I know I'm throwing these terms around, so I thought I would review them really quickly, but essentially premenopause is the time of really anywhere from age, like basically when you start menstruating, so let's say age 11 to 12, up through your late 30s, and then many women start to transition into this perimenopause phase when your hormones start changing again, and most notably, progesterone levels start dropping, and so that can lead to symptoms like poor sleep, increased anxiety, things like that. Those were the symptoms that I started having. Oh, and night sweats. And then there's actually stages of perimenopause. There's early perimenopause, middle perimenopause, late perimenopause. And then menopause is actually when you've gone 1 year without having a period. And so I'm still cycling, but I'm having more symptoms. And so I'm doing things to try to address those symptoms. And my cycle is still very regular. So that's why I think I'm still in middle perimenopause. They say that as you get closer to menopause, your cycle really starts changing. And specifically, I guess it gets really shorter, and then it gets longer. So my cycles are maybe getting a little bit shorter. They've definitely gone from like 35 days to now like 28, and even as low as like 26 days. So maybe I am getting into that part of perimenopause where my cycles are getting shorter before they get longer. So I hope that clarifies some of that. I know a lot of my viewers are older than me, maybe already in menopause, but I just hope that this video was helpful, and I want to review some of the dietary changes I've made as well. And I would encourage you to try to seek out somebody who's like a healthcare provider or a health coach, somebody who's really skilled in this stage of life, because it's so specific. And just asking like your regular OBGYN, if he or she is not kind of up on all the changes, you might get advice that's outdated. And anyways, so I'm seeing a functional medicine doctor and a naturopathic physician, as well as a nutritionist who's helping me through all these changes. And I forgot to mention another symptom is increased migraine. So if you have migraines in your, like say your early, like in your 20s and 30s, they can get worse in perimenopause, and that is probably the most significant symptom that I've had, and I'm managing it, but it's difficult, and I'll maybe talk about that in a little bit. But as far as dietary changes, I would say the biggest thing is I'm increasing my fiber. I've added more legumes to help with that. And legumes, like beans, they do have some phytoestrogens. I think soybeans have the most phytoestrogens. Now, my naturopathic physician advised me to stay away from soy foods. I need to talk about that with her some more, get some more clarification on why she recommended that. It could be because soy is a highly allergenic food, but I can tolerate just regular beans, white beans, pinto beans, black beans. So that's what I'm doing, try to add beans to my lunch and dinner, as well as lean protein sources. So I'm increasing fiber, increasing beans, increasing protein, lean protein, which I've talked about that in previous videos. I have a what I eat in a day, shooting for 100 grams of protein while being dairy free, which I always say is challenging, because it is. Let's see, other dietary changes that I'm making, just eating regularly, keeping my blood sugar stable. So if I'm hungry, I'll have a snack. I'm not always hungry for a mid-afternoon snack, but if I am, I'll have, try to have like maybe some beef jerky, or if I'm just a little bit hungry, I'll have maybe some bone broth and a piece of fruit. I did show how I made my green smoothie, and that I feel like is such a super is such a secret health weapon for me because it's so packed full of nutrition, and that's where I get my green leafy vegetables. And this morning I used a mix of collard greens and fresh spinach that I steamed and then put that in my smoothie. I also made some steamed frozen zucchini, and again, my neighbor who grows vegetables, he gave me even more zucchini last year. Last week he gave me, I think, 5 or 6 pretty large zucchini, and I didn't want them to go bad. And so what I did was I peeled a little bit of the skin off just to make it easier to digest for me. I have kind of a sensitive digestive system. I steamed the zucchini and then I froze it flat on a parchment paper lined baking sheet and then put them frozen pieces into Ziploc bags. So that'll last me 2 or 3 months as far as the food not going bad. I'll probably go through it faster than that. And then I just put a few slices of that in my green smoothie as well. It added more fiber and it kind of acts like almost like an ice cube. It made the smoothie thicker and smoother, so really literally like a smoother texture than normal. I've also added flax seeds. I guess you could say that's part of adding more fiber to my diet. And as far as the rest of the day, because I'm kind of documenting this day in perimenopause, Alan and I are going to go out for another little adventure. It's the weekend right now, and we're trying to do that almost every weekend, try to do something fun. We don't really travel in the summer because we live on the central coast of California and the weather is so temperate, and elsewhere in the country it just gets so hot, and or even internationally it's just way too hot for us. We are kind of wimps when it comes to heat, and so we like to stay close to home in the summertime and then maybe do traveling in the fall or the spring. So today we're going to go south and to a town called Los Olivos, and we're rewatching the movie Sideways. I don't know if you've seen it. It's about 20 years old at this point, and I don't think I've seen it since it first came out in the movie theater, but it takes place in that part of California, and it's a really funny movie. It's really cute and well written, and so we're going to go to Los Olivos. So I'll show you a little bit around there and go to a restaurant we haven't been before. And then, so I'll show you some of that footage, maybe catch up this afternoon. Definitely want to share some of the books and resources that have been helping me go through this journey. There's one big, huge change that I've made that I'll talk about, and then maybe I'll show you what I have for dinner tonight. So I'll catch up with you soon. And just to wrap up from yesterday, Alan and I had a great lunch in Los Olivos. I had forgotten how cute the town was. We went to a really great restaurant. It's funny because the whole town is geared around wine, and neither Alan nor I drink. I can't drink because it's a migraine trigger. He can't drink because he feels it aggravates his prostate. But that's okay because the food was very gourmet, very fresh. It was the epitome of what I would call California cuisine, which is seasonal and fresh and just absolutely lovely. And the temperature was perfect. It does get very hot there in the summer, but yesterday was only about 70 degrees and we really had a nice day. And I did not show that I had some chocolate for dessert, some dark chocolate that I brought with me. And then I had, I think, an orange and some Simple Mills almond flour crackers when we got home. I did a bunch of meal prep for the week yesterday when we got home, including my air fryer turkey burgers. I had one for dinner. Alan will not eat any ground turkey food, so the turkey burgers were for me. I'll enjoy them throughout the week, and I will put the recipe link for those turkey burgers in the description box as well. And I just served them with some air fried radishes that I just tossed in some olive oil and salt and pepper. And then I made some sweet potatoes in the Instant Pot. We ended up sharing one of them because they were pretty big. And I just topped the sweet potato with some ghee. And oh, I also wanted to mention at the lunch I had a salad and it had goat cheese on it, and I wish I'd asked them to leave it off. It tasted really great, but I noticed today that I have a lot more mucus, which dairy tends to do to me. I also feel like I'm really itchy today, like I'm having more sensitivity to seasonal allergies. and I got a mild migraine last night, so I really do need to avoid dairy. I just can't seem to learn my lesson. I keep trying it because I really love cheese, but it just doesn't work for me. Last night after dinner, I had a simple dessert of those fresh blueberries that I got at the grocery store. They were so delicious. I had a little bit of the dairy-free coconut yogurt, a little bit of granola with that, and that pretty much wrapped up the day. So I want to review 3 books that I think would be helpful for anybody who is in really any stage of perimenopause and maybe even into menopause, because there are some really wonderful resources out there. I also have a podcast that I really like, and the host of that podcast is the author of one of these books. So I'll share that in the show notes or in the description box. And let's see, I will also share links to these 3 books. But the first book is this one called The Hormone Repair Manual. This one is by Dr. Laura Briden. She's a naturopathic doctor. And several years ago, I did a video on PCOS and how I've managed that. And Dr. Briden is also the author of a book called The Period Repair Manual, but this one is called The Hormone Repair Manual, and it's specifically for women over 40. Now, I'm going to say that this book, I would say, is more for the woman who wants to approach this more naturally, maybe who doesn't necessarily want to take medication like hormone replacement therapy, although Dr. Briden is a big fan of oral micronized progesterone, which is a bioidentical progesterone, and so I feel like it doesn't really count as a pharmaceutical. I mean, it kind of is, but it's bioidentical. It's different than the progesterone that's in the birth control pill, so it's shown to be safer, and it has a lot of benefits. I've actually been taking it for a few years now, and it has really helped me, specifically with sleep. So this is one of the books that I highly recommend. It is excellent. It also has, because it's more from like the naturopathic point of view, it has more of, I would say, kind of a holistic view or management of or approach to menopause and perimenopause, and there's a lot of other resources like about diet and supplements, so I highly recommend this book. And I think she has another one coming out soon on metabolic management of your metabolism or weight, and I'm definitely going to buy that because I think she is so smart and I really love everything that she does. Also, I just want to mention I purchased all of these books with my own money, and so this is not sponsored. None of these are sponsored, and I've also have other books that I feel just really haven't made the cut for me for whatever reason, and these are the top 3. So let's see. My second favorite book is this one, and this one probably is actually at the top of the list for the absolutely most helpful, I think, for the most amount of women. It's called Preparing for the Perimenopause and Menopause, and Dr. Newson is the host of this menopause podcast that I'll link in the show notes. And this book, you can see it's also much thinner than the other ones, so it's easier to get through. It is just so geared toward the average viewer, or, you know, you don't have to be a practitioner. You don't have to know a whole bunch about health. She has stories from women who she's treated, and I feel like this is probably my top favorite book that I would recommend to almost every woman who's going through perimenopause or menopause. And so I highly recommend it. It's not very expensive. It's just a thin paperback, so I'll link to that in the show notes. And then the third book that I'm going to recommend is a new one, 2024. It's called The New Menopause, and the author is an MD, Dr. Haver, and this one is excellent. I would say this one would be more for the mainstream patient who's very open to trying hormone replacement therapy. It's a little bit more involved as far as being more like clinically focused, and goes into a lot of detail. I don't actually love how it's laid out. I don't think it's as user-friendly as it could be, but the information is excellent. And Dr. Haver does a ton of podcasts and YouTube videos, so you could search for her name, Haver, and you could learn a lot just from watching her free content that she offers. And then you, as I understand, you can even become a patient in her practice. And so this is an excellent book, and I would say it's doctors like Dr. Haver who, there's a couple others who are kind of doing the rounds now talking about menopause. And the big change, the biggest change that I have made in 2024 is I actually started using some estrogen gel. I get it through my naturopathic doctor, so it is it's prescription based, I guess you could say, or you have to have a prescriber link to get it, so I can't link it for you. But I use it every evening, either on my arm or my thigh, my inner thigh, and I rotate. And pretty immediately I stopped having night sweats, and then I would say I also started having more energy. It's been about 5 to 6 weeks, and I was always under the impression that you had to be in menopause, in other words, not have had a menstrual cycle for 12 months before you considered hormone replacement therapy. But now it seems as if the research is showing you can start before you're officially in menopause, and the risks, especially for the topical forms of estrogen, are lower than oral estrogen, and it's not as scary of a medication as the studies were showing 20 years ago. And there's been a lot of, I guess, counter research to some research that came out in the early 2000s that showing that estrogen is safe for women, can help protect against heart disease, colon cancer, which was kind of mind-blowing, Alzheimer's. It can help prevent bone loss. And I guess the sooner you start it, the better. Not necessarily if you're in perimenopause, but the sooner you start it once you're in menopause, they're saying you'll get more of the benefits. So, of course, talk to your healthcare provider about what might be appropriate for you. But I will recommend these 3 books highly. And if you have any questions or you have any resources you want to share that have been helpful for you, please do leave them in the comments. I would love to know more from you, because we're all learning about this together and sharing resources. So I hope that all of this information was helpful to you. I'm sharing my perimenopause journey, and then in other videos I'm sharing, stuff about the healthy aging. And if there's other topics that you're interested in, please let me know, because nutrition and healthy living really is my passion, so I love sharing it. So I think I mentioned this in the last video, but I might be doing some nutrition workshops in the coming months, so please join my free email list, and I'll put that as well in the description box, and I'll send you my free clean eating quick start guide when you sign up for my email list. So be sure to look out for that, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everyone.